Let's get real for a second. We live in a world obsessed with what we're doing in the bedroom, but not enough people are asking why it matters. When it comes to sex, most advice sounds like it was pulled out of a Cosmo magazine from 2007. Do this one move to blow his mind. Try this one trick he'll never forget. You've heard it all before. But if you've ever tried some of those so-called mind-blowing techniques and found the fireworks didn't quite go off, you're not alone. Because the truth is, great sex isn't just about the act, it's about the experience. And when you understand what really makes it great from a man's perspective, you start playing the game on a totally different level. I want to let you in on something most guys won't say out loud. Not because they're hiding it, but because half of them haven't figured it out themselves. There are certain things that make sex unforgettable for a man, and they go way beyond physical attraction or what happens under the sheets. You could be a 10 out of 10 physically, but if these elements are missing, he's not going to think, wow, that was amazing. He might think, that was fun, and move on. But when you hit the right emotional notes, that's when a man starts thinking, I don't know what it is about her, but I can't get her out of my head. And let's be honest, if you're here, it's because you're not interested in average. You're not trying to be a footnote in someone's story. You want to be the chapter he keeps rereading. You want to be the person he compares every experience to, whether he admits it or not. You want to be the one that leaves an imprint, not just on his body, but on his mind. Now here's what most people won't tell you. Being unforgettable in bed isn't about being someone you're not. It's not about putting on a performance. It's about understanding what really lands for a guy emotionally, what makes him feel something deeper than desire. Because if all he's chasing is the physical, he'll keep chasing. But if you hit him emotionally during the physical, that's when the game changes. So, what are the secrets? What is it that makes a man walk away from an experience thinking, that was incredible, I need more of her? What is it that turns good sex into great sex? The kind that rewires his brain a little bit. That's what we're about to unpack. When most people talk about great sex, they usually jump straight to physical techniques, body types, or some spicy new move they read about online. But what most men won't tell you, and maybe don't even fully realize themselves, is that their most memorable magnetic sexual experiences had one thing in common: emotional safety. That might sound soft, maybe even unsexy, but it's one of the most powerful ingredients in creating a deep, unforgettable physical connection. Emotional safety isn't about making things boring or predictable. It's not about holding back or being overly careful. It's the opposite. It's about creating the kind of connection that gives a man permission to fully let go, to drop the mask, drop the expectations, and just be. That's where the real electricity happens. A lot of men walk around with a quiet fear they rarely speak about. The fear of not being enough, not strong enough, not skilled enough, not satisfying enough. They won't say this out loud. Most of the time they don't even let themselves think about it consciously. But it's there, and when they're with someone who makes them feel judged, compared, or inadequate in any way, that fear takes over. It makes them perform instead of connect. It makes them hesitate instead of surrender. It makes the entire experience feel transactional, even if the physical part is good. But when a woman creates emotional safety, when she's warm, accepting, playful, non-judgmental, something shifts in him. He relaxes, his walls come down, he stops trying to prove anything and starts to just feel. And that's when the experience starts to transcend the physical. It's subtle but powerful. Emotional safety shows up in small ways. It's the way you laugh when something awkward happens instead of acting embarrassed. It's how you meet his vulnerability, not just his strength, with softness and curiosity. It's the way you respond when things aren't perfect and make it clear that perfection isn't the point. It's letting go of the script and tuning into the moment, giving both of you space to be real. Men crave that kind of environment more than they even know, because in the rest of life, they're constantly managing pressure. Pressure to succeed, pressure to lead, pressure to perform. So when they're with someone who doesn't add to that pressure, who actually takes it off, it's magnetic, it's disarming in the best way. And it leads to the kind of sex where they're not thinking about what they should be doing, they're just in it. And let's be real, when a man feels emotionally safe, he becomes more generous, more giving, more adventurous. He tunes into you more deeply because he's not stuck in his own head. He's not worried about judgment or rejection. He's able to connect, to sync up with your rhythm, your breath, your reactions. That's when he becomes present. And presence is where all the magic lives. Think about this. When was the last time you truly let go with someone? Like completely lost track of time, forgot what you looked like, stopped monitoring yourself and just felt? That's emotional safety. Now imagine what it's like when you're the one who makes someone else feel that way. That's power. Quiet, potent, unforgettable power. This kind of energy doesn't come from having the perfect body or knowing every move in the Kama Sutra. It comes from the way you make someone feel emotionally. And when a man feels that grounded, safe, seen and accepted, he opens up. Not just his body, but his mind, his energy, his attention. That's when the real heat begins. Not the kind that burns fast and fizzles, but the kind that lingers in his memory, that makes him think about you at the most random times, that leaves a deep imprint. And here's the twist. Emotional safety doesn't mean letting a guy walk all over you or being endlessly sweet and soft. It's not about being passive. It's about being real. It's about being so grounded in yourself that you don't need to play games or hide behind a facade. When you're comfortable in your own skin, it creates a vibe that makes him feel more comfortable in his. That's what makes the connection electric. Not forced chemistry, not performance, but something deeper. Something that keeps echoing long after the night is over. Confidence isn't just about walking into a room and commanding attention. It's not about the way you dress, the way you talk, or the way you try to act sexy. Confidence in sex has much more to do with the energy you bring into the moment than any specific technique. When it comes to what men really crave in the bedroom, it's not about the moves you know. It's about the way you own the space. Confidence doesn't come from performing or trying to impress. It comes from being fully at ease with who you are, what you want, and how you're showing up. Confidence in the bedroom is magnetic. It's not about having a flawless body or knowing every position. It's about embodying the comfort and trust in yourself to be unapologetically present with the person you're with. And the best part? Confidence isn't something you have to be born with or fake it until you make it. Confidence is a mindset. It's the ability to be fully aware of yourself, your desires, your body, your energy, and to express that in the moment without hesitation or self-doubt. A confident person doesn't second-guess themselves or overthink every move. They don't need constant validation or praise because they're not looking for external approval to feel good. When you're confident, you're not worried about whether you're doing the right thing. You're simply in the moment, responding to the energy around you, trusting yourself and your instincts. That's what makes it sexy. For men, confidence in a partner is a huge turn-on. A woman who is comfortable with her body and sexuality creates an atmosphere where both people can let go and explore. It's like an invitation to deeper connection. When a woman is confident, it's a signal that she's not concerned with comparison or judgment. It's an invitation to be real, raw, and vulnerable. That's when sex becomes less about performance and more about shared experience. Confidence doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be brash. In fact, it's often the quieter moments of confidence, the ability to make eye contact, the way you communicate without words, the little smile you give when you feel good in your own skin. That are the most alluring. It's about owning your space, your body, and your desires without apology. What's even more attractive than someone who is comfortable with their own body is someone who is willing to own their sexual energy without holding back. When you feel good about what you're offering, it radiates. It's in the way you move, in the way you respond to touch, in the way you embrace the pleasure you're experiencing. A confident partner isn't waiting for validation. They're giving themselves permission to enjoy the moment without hesitation. On the flip side, a lack of confidence can be a major turnoff. If you're constantly wondering if you look good enough, or worrying about whether he's enjoying himself, it creates tension, and that tension is felt. When you're not at ease with yourself, it becomes harder to connect. It's not about being perfect or performing. It's about being present and giving yourself permission to feel good. If you're too wrapped up in insecurity or doubt, it can take away from the natural chemistry between you. Here's the thing, men aren't expecting you to be perfect, but they do want to feel like you're fully participating. When you hold back, when you're hesitant, it's like you're putting up a wall between the two of you. They want to know that you're just as invested in the experience as they are. And confidence is the key to unlocking that kind of investment. It's what allows you to show up as your full, authentic self and make the experience feel real, not scripted or forced. Being confident in the bedroom also means giving yourself permission to experiment, to ask for what you want, to say what feels good and what doesn't. Confidence isn't just about being okay with your body. It's about being comfortable enough to communicate openly about your desires and boundaries. It's an invitation to play and explore, not just a one-way street. When you're confident, you give yourself permission to explore and grow in the experience, which can only make the connection deeper. Ultimately, confidence isn't about trying to be someone else. It's about letting go of the need to perform and embracing the fact that you already have everything you need to be magnetic. When you stop looking for approval and start trusting yourself, you shift the entire dynamic. You invite the kind of connection that goes beyond the physical, into the emotional and mental spaces that make sex memorable and truly great. When we talk about presence in the bedroom, it's not about being physically present, but mentally engaged. Many people have had the experience of being with someone who is physically there, but mentally checked out. Their body may be moving, but their mind is elsewhere. And let's be honest, how many times have you felt disconnected in an intimate moment? How often have you found yourself wondering if the person you're with is really there with you, or if they're simply going through the motion? For men, presence is one of the most powerful aspects of great sex. It's not about knowing all the right moves or having endless stamina. It's about being fully in the moment. When a man feels that his partner is present, not distracted, not preoccupied with her to-do list or any self-conscious thoughts, but truly connected, it creates a depth of intimacy that can't be replicated through any technique or performance. Presence is about focus. It's about undivided attention. It's the art of being with someone, not just in someone. When you're present, you're not distracted by thoughts of how you look or whether you're doing things right. You're not wondering if he likes this position or that touch. You're not checking your phone, mentally planning your next move, or holding back in any way. You're not thinking about the past or worrying about the future. You're simply there, in the moment, feeling, experiencing, and responding. This kind of presence has a profound effect on your partner. When someone is truly present, they can feel the difference. A man can tell if you're engaging with him from a place of real attention and focus, and not just in a mechanical, detached way. There's a shift in the energy, a realness that can't be faked. He knows when you're with him, really with him, and it makes the experience far more intimate, far more satisfying. When you're truly present, you show him that you're invested in the experience, that you care about the connection, and that you're not just using him for physical pleasure. Being present also creates a space where vulnerability becomes possible. Vulnerability in sex doesn't necessarily mean emotional vulnerability, though that can be part of it. But at the most basic level, vulnerability means being able to respond authentically in the moment without worrying about what's expected or how you might be judged. When you're present, you let go of the need to perform or meet someone else's standards. You're not trying to be something you're not. And you're not caught up in how you look or whether you're doing things perfectly. You're just engaging with your partner in a real, raw way. This doesn't just benefit the man, it benefits you too. Being present allows you to experience the full depth of pleasure. When you're not distracted or worried about anything else, you're able to truly feel, to be fully immersed in the sensations of touch, the heat of the moment, the electricity of connection. And that's when you start to realize that it's not about the specific moves or tricks. It's about the feeling of being connected, the intensity of shared energy. And for men, presence isn't just about physical connection. It's emotional too. Men often feel emotionally disconnected or misunderstood in many areas of life. In the bedroom, that's the last thing they want to feel. They want to feel seen, not just physically, but emotionally as well. When they feel like they have your full attention, like they're not just another body in the room, but the center of your world for that moment, it makes everything feel more significant. They feel valued. They feel important. This type of connection goes beyond sex and enters the realm of intimacy. Intimacy isn't just about bodies touching, it's about two people sharing a moment, a space where they can let go of everything else and simply exist together. The key to true intimacy is presence, the ability to show up not just in body, but in mind and spirit too. This is what men crave when they're with someone special. They want to feel like they matter in that moment, not just as a physical object, but as a person. And when they feel that deep emotional connection, the sex becomes that much more powerful. Being present also means allowing space for spontaneity, for unpredictability. It means being open to the flow of the moment, to letting things unfold organically without trying to control every detail. It's about creating a safe space where both partners can feel comfortable enough to experiment, to explore new things, and to let the experience be fluid and natural. That kind of presence creates chemistry that can't be manufactured. It's the kind of connection that makes every touch feel electric, every kiss feel like a spark, every moment feel like it's building to something real. In a world where distractions are constant, and so many of us live in our heads more than we'd like to admit, the gift of being fully present in an intimate moment is rare and it's incredibly powerful. When you bring that level of attention and presence into the bedroom, it creates an energy that resonates far beyond the physical act of sex. It's what turns an ordinary experience into something extraordinary. Playfulness is often one of the most overlooked elements in great sex, and yet it's one of the things that can make the experience feel completely different. When you think about great sex, you probably imagine passion, intensity, and chemistry. But what really keeps the spark alive and prevents things from becoming stale or routine is the ability to keep things light, fun, and spontaneous. Playfulness in the bedroom isn't just about joking around. It's about the ability to take the pressure off and create an environment where both people can feel free to explore, laugh, and enjoy the experience without any expectations or worries. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that sex is supposed to be serious, intense, or goal-oriented. Many people think the ultimate goal is orgasm or some perfectly executed moment of pleasure. While those things are certainly part of it, the real magic happens when you take the pressure off, when you allow yourself to laugh, tease, and enjoy the fun of being with someone who is just as eager to explore as you are. When there's room for playfulness, the connection deepens because both people are showing up without fear of judgment or performance. It's the freedom to be silly, to be unexpected, and to allow the moment to unfold in whatever direction it takes. For men, this type of energy can be incredibly attractive. Men often have to deal with societal pressure to be the strong, stoic figure, the one who has all the answers and is always in control. But in the bedroom, they want something different. They want to let go too. They want to feel like they don't have to always be on, that they don't have to play the part of the alpha all the time. Playfulness gives them the freedom to relax, to not take things so seriously. When a woman can engage with him in a fun, light-hearted way, it takes the weight off his shoulders and allows him to be more open, more vulnerable, and more in tune with the moment. That's when the connection becomes more authentic and the sexual chemistry deepens. It's important to remember that playfulness doesn't mean childishness or immaturity. It's about creating a vibe of ease, humor, and curiosity. It's not about being perfect or doing everything right. It's about not being afraid to experiment, to laugh when something goes wrong, and to embrace the unexpected. In fact, some of the best sexual moments come from things that aren't perfectly executed. Maybe you miss the mark on a move or position, or maybe things get a little awkward. But when both partners can laugh and roll with it, it transforms the experience into something more enjoyable and memorable. Playfulness also opens the door to deeper intimacy. When both people can let their guard down and embrace the moment with humor, it creates an environment where both feel safe to express their desires, explore new things, and experiment without fear of rejection or failure. There's an inherent vulnerability in being playful. It requires both people to let go of the usual pressures and expectations and just be in the moment. When you're playful, you're saying to your partner, "I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to enjoy this with you, to have fun, and to see where this takes us." This attitude of play also creates a sense of connection that goes beyond the physical. It allows both partners to communicate non-verbally through touch, laughter, and playful teasing. It allows for a natural flow between intimacy and excitement, where both people can feel like they're actively engaged in the experience. The more playful and light-hearted you are, the more comfortable you become in expressing what you want, what you like, and what feels good. You're not worried about being judged or needing to live up to some ideal. You're just enjoying the journey together. Moreover, playfulness helps prevent the experience from becoming predictable or routine. When sex starts to feel like a formula, when it's always the same positions, the same moves, the same expectations, it can quickly lose its excitement. Playfulness keeps things fresh and interesting because it opens up the opportunity to try new things, to laugh about the silly moments, and to keep surprising each other. It's about creating an environment where both partners are encouraged to be spontaneous and creative, and where the focus is on the shared experience rather than achieving a specific result. In the end, playfulness is one of those subtle yet incredibly important elements that can transform ordinary sex into something great. It's the ability to not take yourself too seriously, to embrace the unexpected, and to create a vibe of curiosity and excitement that flows throughout the entire experience. It's the kind of energy that allows both people to feel more alive, more connected, and more in tune with each other's needs. And when that happens, the chemistry between you and your partner becomes undeniable.